Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Turk from the Hot Boys and his wife Erica took to social media to air out their differences with some promoters for the Hot Boys 30th anniversary tour. What happened? They say that they tried to give Turk a fee reduction, and when Turk turned it down, they terminated his contract, citing that he was a security risk. So, Turk and his wife, they hopped on social media to explain how things really went down. Now, this ain't none of my business, However, sometimes people make comments online and they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They start talking about things that go on in different industries. They have no clue what they're talking about. And hence these comments that I've seen where certain people are saying things like, well, Turk should have just been happy to get some money. Well, who is Turk? He's the least favorite of the Hot Boys, or the least significant of the Hot Boys, and all of this type of stuff. He should have just taken the money. Okay, let me explain something to you, fam. Very few times are you going to encounter a group where somebody's getting a free check. Whatever that person's contribution is to the group, it has to have some significance. Otherwise, that person would not be in the group. You know, like, I can tell you about being in a group myself. You're not trying to have one extra person in the group that you don't need, because that's more money you got to break down. So if the person ain't really needed, in most cases, they are not going to be in the group. I don't give a damn if all that person does in the group is come in every now and then. Well, I just said, woo, woo, woo. Come in. You know, remember back in the day how those groups, like the Temptations and all that, they all had that one bass singer, the guy with the real deep voice, and all he'd come in every now and then just, well, I said, you know, whatever that is. You know what I'm talking about, fam. You know, so, and that was important because that little piece that he brought to the table took the song to a different level. Just that little piece. Yeah, some guys in groups who bring charisma, style, right? You'll see this happening a lot in girls' groups where you put a pretty girl in the group. She can't sing that good, but she cute. And cute equals record sales when you got other girls in the groups who can cover the singing, you know, who can handle the heavy load. This girl, she cute, she can sing, boom, put her in the group. She's cute, she can dance, put her in the group. You dig what I'm saying? So we have to be careful about discounting a person's contributions to a group. Just like if you look at, let's say, your job. Everybody on that job is there for a reason. Most companies, they're not going to have one extra position available if it's not necessary. That's why oftentimes people will have 2, 3, 4, 5 different loads of work to do. They should be getting 5 different checks, but they're only getting one because the company is trying to streamline the responsibilities because they're trying to maximize profit. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. When you sign a contract, the goal is for each party to abide by the terms of that contract. If Turk holds up to his end, the promoter is supposed to hold up to their end. They agreed on a price. A promoter should not promote a show if he don't know how to promote, if he don't factor in all the risk, if you don't factor in, okay, I got to spend this much money for marketing, this much money to promote, I got to spend this much money for transportation, this much money for hotels, this much money for artists, this much money for staff, all of that go. And then you have to have incidentals, miscellaneous, right? 10% basically of whatever the overall cost is. You got to have about 10% in there. And you got to be able to pay artists whether you have a packed arena or an empty arena. You got to do what you said you was going to do. This is why oftentimes y'all go to shows, and some of y'all who are in here trying to take shots at Turk, you go to shows and the artists don't show up. You get mad at the artist, but you should be mad at the promoter, because in most cases, the artist did not come out on that stage because the promoter didn't pay him the money. The artist will be in your city oftentimes. They'll be in the city. They'll be backstage, ready to go on. And the promoter don't have the money. Now, the artists obviously, in most cases, love their fans. They want to come out and do the show. But if they go out there and do that show for free, they don't get their back end, the word is going to travel that this guy get on stage without getting his back end. So that creates a problem for the artists in the future. So as much as the artists want to get out there and get on that stage, and sometimes the house is packed, he really want to get out there, but he don't do it because if he do it, it's going to set a precedent, and it's going to set a precedent, and that means that if he goes out there and get on that stage, the word's going to get out, and other promoters are going to expect him to go out on stage without getting his back end. So that's a big problem. This is why I absolutely enjoyed working with Al Heyman. If you don't know him, look him up. He is perhaps the greatest, at the very least, he's one of the greatest promoters, music, concert promoters of all time. He transitioned about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, from concert promoting to boxing promoting. And right now he manages more boxers than anybody in the game. But Al Heyman is the blueprint. Al Heyman is the standard for promoters, because it did not matter if the arena was full. When we were on tour, the arena was mostly full. But sometimes, like in the middle of the week, if a show go down like on a Tuesday or a Monday, and especially like in a smaller market, it might only be 80% filled, and sometimes maybe even less than that. But that money was on time every time. And you never had to wait around on your money with Al Heyman. A lot of these younger dudes today, these promoters, not even younger dudes, just promoters period today, a lot of them are janky promoters. They oftentimes will try to get an artist to come in and actually do the damn show for free. Sometimes they don't even send the front end. Artists go out there and do something on their word. So a lot of times this is about relationships. So you might find yourself in a city prepared to do a show where you only got 10% of your money up front. And that is because somebody vouched for that promoter and let you know that, oh, you're going to get all your money. Sometimes promoters, you do it because you have a relationship with the promoter, or the promoter has a good reputation. But what you don't know is that the promoter is at the end of that good reputation. The promoter is going broke. And so now he decides, I'm going to try this one more time, and I'm just going to tell him we're going to give him 10% up front, and we're going to give him the other 90% when they show up. And he's banking that the show is going to be a huge success, and he's going to be able to pay you off the door sales and ticket sales before the show. So A lot of these promoters be out of pocket. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And they mess up the entire experience for everybody. If, I don't know what that number was for Turk, but if that number was 10,000 or 100,000, the promoter is dead wrong for not honoring the terms of that contract. Turk did nothing wrong. He don't deserve anybody to be speaking ill of his name, trying to crack jokes and all that stupid shit. Because if you take your ass to a job and sign up to get to do some work for somebody, and they tell you, I'm gonna pay you $20 an hour, or I'm gonna pay you $1,000 for that particular job, you're gonna want your money, and I mean every damn penny of it. You don't want to hear no excuses. You want your damn money. So Turk ain't did nothing wrong for asking for his money. And his wife ain't did nothing wrong by speaking on the money, because she's his manager, which gives her a right to speak on his business. On top of that, she's a stand by your man type of woman. This woman been with Turk since they were in their 20s. She dated him before he went to prison and waited, I think, 7 or 8 years or something for him to get out. And then they got married. Hey man, say salute, salute, salute. So a lot of y'all really are out of pocket by trying to talk down on that man. Put yourself in the same position and you tell me how you would feel. Turk was not the only artist reportedly who did not get paid on the Cash Money tour. There were also others. And that does not fall on Cash Money Records neither, because the promoter is the one who dropped the ball. The promoter is the one who put this whole thing together. The promoter is responsible for payment. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.